Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel where I talk about movies. And the movie I want to talk about today comes from 1962, and this is Pitfall, directed by Hiroshi Teshigahara, a Japanese filmmaker, avant-garde, experimental type filmmaker. And Pitfall is part of an old uh, box set from Criterion, three films by Teshigahara, which includes Woman in the Dunes, by far Teshigahara's most famous film, and which played on the art house film repertory circuit in the 60s and 70s. And then the third film is The Face of Another. This is with Nakadai, and a sort of a science fiction. That's a This is very strange artwork. I imagine that's a fingerprint on the cover. It has, I think it came out in 2006, 2007. It has sort of yellowed through the years. It is still available. I think you can even buy new copies on eBay, but they're pretty expensive. So who is Teshigahara? He was the son of Sofu Teshigahara, who was an avant-garde artist. He developed a school, very prestigious, influential school in Tokyo. He was mostly concerned with flower arrangements, but there were all kind of arts that were being practiced and learned at this institution. And his son Hiroshi was meant to follow in his father's footsteps, but Sofu was a very liberal man, and he wanted his son Hiroshi to do what he wanted to do. Hiroshi becomes part of this coterie of left-wing intellectuals that included the novelist Kobo Abe and the composer Tora Takamitsu. And Teshigahara's ambition was to make films. And in this set, in this box set, we get three of his early short films. Two are documentary, one is a narrative film. But Pitfall is his debut, and it's an astonishing debut, to be sure. It opens with a man on a run. We have a long tracking shot. We follow a man on the run with his little boy. We don't really know what they're running, who's chasing them. They're coal miners. This is a movie set in the coal mining district in Japan, and he's on the run. He becomes sort of an itinerant worker as they're in their travels. The man and his son are being trailed in the distance by a man in a white suit, white hat with a camera. We have no idea. They don't notice him. We have no idea what the interest is by this man in this father and son. So eventually he works at another coal mine. He's summoned by the boss that he's wanted for a different job, presumably a better job. He gives the miner the address, and when he gets there, he finds a ghost town. This was a real ghost town of a mine that was in danger. The mine was in danger of collapse, so the mine had to be abandoned with the buildings still in place. There is one woman there who's waiting for one of those who fled, a man who had fled to send a letter. She's awaiting a letter from this man, summoning her to the man once he gets established. Now the movie turns into very much a Twilight Zone kind of episode. Very intriguing, very compelling, and very existential, avant-garde, experimental. It involves doppelgangers, it involves murders, it involves a ghost story, it involves a labor struggle. There's two mines with different labor unions, and they seem to be combative. They're at peace, but they seem to be on the verge of being combative with each other. So this movie covers a lot of narrative strands, and do they all cohere? I think when reading some of the reviews, there's not a whole lot of them, but they think that they don't cohere, that Teshigahara doesn't have control of all his material yet in this debut film. But I don't think it matters at all, because this is such an intriguing situation. I was on the edge of my seat at the final half of this film. You don't know what's going to happen. You wonder what, it's a mystery. Will we ever get will this mystery ever be solved? Will we know who the man in the white suit is? But it's full of this really beautiful, stark imagery. And this imagery can be, is very similar to Andrei Tarkovsky, especially in the black and white films of Tarkovsky. And as it seems, Tarkovsky was a big admirer of Teshigahara. In fact, they both made 7 films, and both of them, both their debuts were in 1962. Teshigahara has also has stated his admiration for Louis Buñuel. I did a video on El, a Buñuel film, a few videos back, and this kind of surrealism. Teshigahara traveled to Spain, and he to study the architecture of Antonio Gaudi, who Teshigahara eventually, I think in 2001, makes a documentary set in Spain exploring all the different architectural buildings, the buildings that Gaudi had constructed and designed. And there he meets Salvador Dali in this visit to Spain. Teshigahara meets Dali, and so there's a surrealistic, a Buñuelian type surrealism where everything looks real, but there's something amiss. There's some invisible force involved in his films, and definitely in Pitfall. And so will the mystery ever be solved? I don't think it really matters. What matters is the imagery. Now, Kobo Abe, the subsequent 2 movies in this box set are based on novels. I think this one, Pitfall, was based on a play by Abe, and I think it was a television production, if my memory is accurate. I don't know that Teshigahara was involved in that, but you can't underestimate the collaboration here between Teshigahara and Kobo Abe. All 3 films based on Abe work, and there's a 4th one, a detective story that, as far as I know, has never been on Blu-ray. I don't think you can find it streaming. All 3 of these films, even though this set is out of print, are available on the Criterion channel. And if you watch the movie on the channel, there's a 30-minute visual essay by James Quant, who was the director of the Toronto Film Festival. A visual essay that's just outstanding. It's not on the supplements here. I think it's a much more recent appraisal of Pitfall. It focuses entirely on Pitfall. So I hope I haven't made this film sound like it's too avant-garde, because as I say, it looks like it looks like reality, and the story is very compelling, and the imagery is just, that's what Teshigahara was aiming for. Abe would provide the story, Teshigahara would provide the imagery, and the composer, Tora Takamitsu, who provides this very strange, eerie, they prepared a piano to give it very eerie tones for this film. Takamitsu would, and also involved in the sound design, but they were 3 friends, 3 collaborators, and Takamitsu was involved in all the filmmaking, from the casting on. So this is a real collaboration. I'm not sure if there was a novelist, director combination in cinema that was certainly as close as this one was. And we'll explore a little bit more of both of their careers in these subsequent videos. So this is Woman in the Dunes, which will be the next video. This will be the end of the year. These are 3 videos that will round out the year. And I had wanted to talk about this box set for quite some time. I know I had a subscriber who explicitly requested that I talk about this box set, so I'm finally getting around to it. And so far, this revisiting of this box set has been very stimulating and quite interesting. And really, Pitfall is a pretty exciting film. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.